Hello Smart Movers and welcome to Smart Move Insider, a place where we talk about fitness from within. My name is Sergio alongside our head coach Bart, and today we're going to talk about CrossFit Gear. What is nice to have and what do we actually need for training? One of the first questions I have when I talk to new people after deciding to join the gym is, what should I wear? Should I bring something special? How would you answer that?
I think when you first join the gym, don't overthink it. Just come, put your sports clothes on, take the shoes that you have and come to class. And then as we go in the next months, you will find out that certain gear will be handy and we can advise you. But I noticed that for a lot of people, the preparation before they start an activity is also part of the fun. Like looking online, the right shorts, the right t-shirt, the cool shoes. Especially, do you remember when we were starting, like when was that? 2010-ish, when we were starting CrossFit, and the CrossFitters, they looked like Reebok puked on them.
Yeah,
Everything was Reebok.
Yeah.
The t-shirt, the shorts, they had the high socks, they had the shoes. Yeah, don't do that. Just don't overthink it. You don't need to spend 300 euros to get started. You just need to get started.
I think we all have that friend that heard about hiking and went to Decathlon, bought 300 euros worth of material, and then went just once.
Yeah, exactly.
One time to the mountain, all gear up, and then...
That's why I'm saying that first see if you like it, see if you're consistent. Don't start spending money just to spend money. Because as you will hear in this episode, there's a lot of things that are nice to have, but not a must to have from day one.
I think they ask this because we market ourselves as something completely different than a global gym. So we do all kinds of movement that is not necessarily reproduced in a all-machine fitness gym. And I also think they want to feel that they are apart, like they don't want to stand out. They don't want to dress differently than how the people dress. So what I usually tell them is, if you have any shoes that are not for running, just bring them. Like the football indoors shoes, those with the hard sole.
Yeah.
So that would be very handy if you start CrossFit, for example. But it's not a must. Just come with what you are comfortable. And if you know you sweat a lot, just bring a towel. It's allowed. And that would be it for the starting.
The first years I did all my CrossFit trainings in running shoes. It works. It's not ideal, but if you don't want to spend 150 euros on some specific shoes, you don't have to. You can go without for a while.
Yeah, I actually stayed a bit and I thought about what did I bought, the first thing I bought when I started CrossFit. So I didn't even think about shoes and all those flashy things. But I remember that when we got inside, I bought a pair of lifters, and that was the first thing I got. No knee sleeves, no wrist wraps, no nothing, because I think the shoes were more important for me back then. Yeah.
So I thought a bit about what I would advise people, and my list is like divided in two. I have like a top 3 of things that I would start with in your first year, and then I have a list with a couple of items that are nice to have, especially if you start training regularly and you're 3+ trainings a week, and it's nice to have the other stuff also, step by step. How did you think of it?
I just went from bottom to the top. So I was like thinking, what is nice to have? And that's how I made my list. What is nice to have and what I actually have, because it's very different. I'm not a person that uses too many materials. I don't even use grips.
No?
No, I barely use them.
Your hands don't break?
No, so far so good. I had a few break-ins, but when I was doing muscle ups,
Yeah.
like over 10 or over 15 in volume, I would feel my middle of the palm. But if I'm not used to grips, if I put them on, it automatically rips, my hand rips.
Really?
Yeah,
Because
so
with
if you're
me,
not used to,
it's really the opposite. If I don't put grips and we go over 50 reps on keeping pull-ups, my hands, big chance that they'll break. If I put the grips on, they never break.
yeah, I think it depends on how you use your hand and
Yeah. Also, Laura, she never used grips and she never breaks.
yeah, you see. And the same with the knee sleeves. Whenever I put my knee sleeves on, if there's a Metcon, I feel my quads are so pumped they are going to explode. And when I do strength, because I don't want to use them when I do cardio, I feel my knees cracking even harder. So I can hear them in my brain because my knees crack whenever I do a squat from when I was very young. So putting those pressure things on my knees, they pop even harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's much more scarier. And people next to me asking me, is that okay?
Are you okay?
Yeah, nothing hurts. I went for a checkup. They're like brand new. It's okay.
Remember when we used to do fundamentals together? That would be my standard joke with every group. Don't worry, his knees always do that. He's
I
fine.
remember. I need to really warm up not to hear any pop. Okay, so let's dive right in.
I have shoes, good pair of shoes that are versatile. Your own jump rope, and as you already heard, some people don't need them, but for me, it's like a must-have for me. The gymnastic grips not to break my hands. So that's my top three of that's what I would start with. But shoes for me is like number one. Get a good
Okay.
pair of shoes
Shoes, jump rope, and
and gymnastic grips.
grips. You have any favorites of brands that you use or buy
Of brands on the what? On the shoes?
on the shoes?
I have a pair of Nike Metcons and I have a pair of Reeboks CrossFit shoes. So I think they're both fine. I think it's a matter of personal preference, and maybe some people will feel better in one or the other because of the width of their feet. You just need to try it, but I don't think one stands out more than the other. They are not cheap when you buy them new, but the good thing, like with every big brand, like Apple brings the iPhone every year, a new one. CrossFit shoes every year also a new one. So just look back a couple of models and you can do some deals and they're just fine. But
Exactly.
if you like the last model, yeah, okay, you're gonna probably pay, what would it be, 700 lei, 800 lei, somewhere there.
Somewhere there, yeah.
So in that price range, it's not cheap, but it does enhance your training experience, in my opinion, because for every specific sport there are shoes. If you're a runner, you need a good pair of running shoes. If you play football, you need a good pair of football shoes. If you're a CrossFitter, you need a good pair of CrossFit shoes because we do a lot of different things. You need to be able to run, let's say, short to medium distances in it and still be comfortable. They need to be not too soft on the sole, so when you squat, the sole doesn't compress. You need to be able to do jump rope. You need to be able to climb a rope with it. So that's why they're reinforced a little bit on the side usually. So they wouldn't deteriorate from the pressure of the rope. So they take a lot of abuse. Shoes take a lot of abuse in CrossFit. I think we've all went through a moment where we had non-CrossFit shoes on, went on a rope and we broke our shoe or cracked our shoe on the side. The same with doing a back squat a heavy back squat in shoes that are for running. You will compress and you will get unstable. It's not ideal.
You can see them move from the side if you're next to it.
Mm-hmm.
I like in the shoes category, I like Nike Metcon.
Yeah.
I've been a fan from, let's say, 2018, and I like the way the foot is compressed inside. And it has now the new models are a bit more broader in the top, not squeezed all together.
Mm-hmm.
But I tried also Nano. I think I have Nano 12. Because I know that it's a brand of CrossFit and everybody used to love them, and I must say it's nicer to run into nanos than running into the Metcons. Running with the Metcons is like running with high heels, you know. So you can hear the tap 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 like plastic sole. The Nano is a bit more like for running, but the downfall is when I went on the rope, I saw a bit of a tear
in your nanos?
In my nanos, yeah. Because because of the foam.
Okay. Yeah, for me also, if I had to choose which one I'm gonna take for a run, it will be my Reeboks. I like that also one, better for the running.
Yeah.
But overall, I think they're pretty similar. You also have some other brands like Noble has CrossFit shoes. I heard in the dressing room some guys talking about Adidas having some kind of a CrossFit shoe. Then you have that TVR. I think that's
Tier.
what Tier. Yeah, that one.
Tier, Under Armour.
Under Armour. Yeah.
There are quite a few.
I think the most important thing is you don't necessarily need to buy Nike or Reebok. You just need to make sure that you buy something that the sole is doesn't compress too easily. Because in the end, the real CrossFit shoes are a bit reinforced for the rope climbs, but we don't do rope climbs that often. So I wouldn't necessarily spend €100 more just to be reinforced for rope climbs when another shoe of €100 less can do the trick to squat in and to run in.
Yes, but they look so cool.
Yeah, that's a choice you
And
need
the
to make.
colors are so
That's
flashy.
a choice you need to make. Yeah. If it's worth it for you, then go for it. They're good shoes.
What
for
about
sure.
lifting shoes? I know you're a big fan of lifting shoes. You had multiple brands,
Yeah,
multiple
I have
years.
multiple brands. I think lifting shoes, it's on my list of nice to have, because in my opinion, if you start lifting heavy, start liking the Olympic lifts, start going to the weightlifting classes we have, I think it's a very nice thing to have. You will feel more stable on your split jerks, you will feel more stable on your cleans and your snatches. Squatting will feel better because your heel will be a bit raised. But if you're just the average CrossFitter that usually is doing the Metcons from day to day and not necessarily focused on lifting max weights, I don't think you need them. I think you can go without them. But the more you're into heavy lifting and Olympic lifts, you should think about them. But these are also expensive. That's going to be up to €200. I had Nikes, and then I switched to Adidas. I like the Adidas better. I have a wide foot, so the Adidas suit me best.
Mm-hmm. When I wear lifters, when I do weightlifting, it's like I'm going with intention in the training. I actually feel like a weightlifter. Now is the real deal. Now I'm training as a weightlifter. So it's a bit different. You know, you might set the intention of the training sometimes. But this is just for lifting. So that's the weightlifting classes. If you're a CrossFitter and just joining classes, you don't actually need them.
It's a bit of a big spend to squat maybe in the class once every couple of weeks heavy. For deadlifts you don't need them because it's not comfortable with a raised heel to do a heavy deadlift. You should put flat shoes or your CrossFit shoes on. Or like some people, they do it barefoot. I tried that, I don't like it. To be barefoot, did you ever try that? Without
Yes,
shoes?
I tried it, yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily better, but so for me, I just put my CrossFit shoes on when I deadlift heavy. For the rest, yeah. In my case, I have an injury from 20 years ago where I fucked up my ankle with football. So on my right side, my ankle isn't that mobile anymore. So I'll wear my lifters also in Metcons because I feel more comfortable. Because otherwise I start rotating my body because one knee doesn't go as far forward as the other. Left is normal, right is restricted. It helps if you have ankle mobility issues. It's a raised heel. It's like you're squatting with your heels on discs. Mm-hmm. So if I have if I have a Metcon that doesn't involve running, I will wear my weightlifting shoes usually. But that's personally for me because I have this issue on my ankle. But I do also sometimes, depending on the Metcon, just my CrossFit shoes.
Okay.
But I wouldn't spend €200 just to wear them once in a while. I wear them every day, and every other day I'm lifting heavy, so I use them a lot.
Cool. So that's it about shoes.
Yeah.
Jump rope.
Yeah, jump
Have
rope.
any favorites?
I bought, let me think. I don't think I bought any jump rope besides Rogue ones. And they were always fine. I had different Rogue ones. They have different price classes, going up from €30 going all the way up to €50 going all the way up to €100 even, because they have some with special handles, I don't know what, that the same material as they use in the space shuttle and blah blah blah. But I've had €30 ropes, I had €50 ropes. They all work fine.
Exactly. I'm of the same opinion. Any rope is good if you know how to jump rope. Any rope, no matter how expensive it is, if you don't know how to jump rope, is bad.
Yeah,
You have no chance. I had Rogue and now I have Elix Smart Gear.
yeah.
And it's a bit different.
It's with thicker handles.
It's a
right?
thicker handle,
Yeah.
it's a bit heavier. But you need to love to jump rope and you need to know how to jump rope. That's it. Because if it's lighter, you jump faster and it's less volume on your less fatigue on your shoulders. If it's heavy, you feel it better, but it takes a toll if you go past 100, let's say, or it's a big volume.
But
So,
this is how
depends.
I learned to jump rope with the rope that was, the rope itself was a bit thicker. And then you, like you say, it's heavier on the shoulders, but you feel where the rope is as you jump in the air. Is it in front of me, is it behind me, is it on top of me? You feel better. But then once you progress to it, through the technique better, you can have a faster rope. But the main reason why I think it's a must-have is that we do have ropes in the gym, but they're not at your size. And it's important to have your rope at your size. And so every time when you take the rope, that it feels the same. Because otherwise, when you're still learning, you might trip for the wrong reasons. Your rope is not adjusted. Maybe your rope is too long, it's too short. Either is a problem. It needs to be adjusted to your size. So I don't think it's a big cost to spend 25 or 30 euros for your rope. We use them quite a lot. And no matter if it's single unders or double unders, it's your rope, it's your size.
Yeah, this is the number one reason I think is people are not jumping rope as they should, because it's all the time a new rope.
Yeah.
It's starting from almost scratch. So you need to have your rope, like you said, just to try it out each time. And who knows, you can practice everywhere, but if you have a rope.
Because you're very good at double unders. What's your max amount of double unders you can do?
I think 300 and something was my top.
But if I give you my rope, you're gonna do 300.
No, I'm gonna
Even if it's
trip.
on your size, but the handle is a bit different, you're not used to it. So even people that are very good at double unders, when they switch ropes, they're gonna have to, just like switching cars, you have to get used to it a bit. Once you have a feeling for it, you will do again big sets.
Look, for example, if I would need 10 minutes just to get accustomed to the rope, but even so, if it's not my size, I need to have it in the back of my mind. So let's say I'm gonna do one maximum of double unders. If I'm gonna pass 100, I'm gonna start getting tired, and then my rope would fit me perfect. But a new rope, a different rope, is gonna be different. If it's longer, if it's shorter, it's gonna be a different game with it. So yeah, definitely.
How about handle, short handle, long handle? What do you like best?
I had many ropes. I had long handles, but now I have short. To be honest, I don't feel the difference. My rope is very short. Like I'm barely fitting in.
Yeah. You have it on
be
the minimum height,
Minimum
but
height.
to be efficient. But that's what they say, yeah, when the experts in jump rope, the more efficient you get, the shorter you make your rope.
Yeah. So the people listening, you measure your rope to be until your armpit. So you step on it and then you tense it up, and it needs to come with the handles until your armpit. But the longer it is, it's gonna give you more room to fail. If you step, like if you, how do you say it? If you trip,
Yeah, because
the longer it is, it's gonna permit you to not make the mistakes so often.
Because the beginner jump rope guy will always start going wide with his arms, and then the rope gets shorter. So in the beginning, you should have your rope a bit longer. The more efficient you get, the more your elbows will stay tucked in, and then you will not move your arms out, but you'll be more efficient. But then we can start shortening your rope.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes down to handles, short or long, it's a preference. If you're looking to buy a rope, just check around the gym and just try other people's ropes, try other people's handles and see what you like. And if you're ordering from Rogue, like some of you have already done, post on the Facebook group and say, I'm going to order a rope, because for ropes especially, if you order 3, the shipping is for free. So I bet you can always find 2 other people that are also thinking about buying a rope, so you can better buy it together, save some costs on the shipping.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So what's the next
The
grips?
the third one for me is the gymnastic grips, because like we talked already about, for protecting the hands in CrossFit we do a lot of hanging on the pull-up bar, toes to bar, keeping pull-ups, keeping knee raises, and we start moving our hand around, and it's a bit like a cheese grater. It might break your skin, and the problem with that is that I remember the days that people thought this was like a badge of honor. Oh, look how my palms are bleeding. I'm bleeding like the fucking Jesus. Look how tough I am. In my opinion, it's not about being tough, because you being tough between brackets for that one moment and making those photos to put online. Now for the next week, that those hands need to heal, and anything you will grab in training will be annoying. It's not fun to train with broken hands. So I think you should avoid it. So if you don't have grips, you start feeling in the third round of 5, your hands start to get sensitive. The next 2 rounds, do fucking ring rows. Don't break your hands, because you're gonna suffer for a week. For what? We're not in a competition, you're just in training. So I prefer to do the grips, not break my hands, come back tomorrow, have fun, my body's feeling okay, my hands are not broken.
Yeah. It keeps you away from training. That's it.
Yeah.
It's an injury.
Yeah, it's an injury, yeah.
It's not a badge of honor, it's an injury, and you need to spend some time after to heal. But there are some nice patches that you can buy from the pharmacy that has some painkiller inside, and it heals much more faster.
Yeah.
But you need to make a bit of research.
I usually also have a tube at home, Chin, that also heals wounds a little bit faster, just in case, because it can still happen. But try to avoid it as good as you can, because staying fit is about being regular in the gym, and if you can avoid things like this, because if you break your hands too bad, you will not be in the gym, or you'll give yourself an excuse. I can't train.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be regular in the gym, so do everything you can, use your common sense to be able to come back tomorrow. Do you have any, you have no gymnastic grips, or?
I have a pair, but I don't use them that often. I have them from this new young company that is rising now, Velites. They are marketed as no chalk grips.
Okay.
So they are grips so sticky on the bar that you don't need to put extra chalk on them.
Yeah.
They are nice, they are soft, and between the palm and the grip is like a layer that is not that tough on your palm, and whenever I use them it was a good feeling, but not being used to them at all.
Yeah.
I just I went without them, but I recommend it to a lot of people in the community, and they are very satisfied about these ones.
Yeah, you brought me also a pair, and yeah, I have tried them, and yeah, they are very sticky. I also have a pair already for a couple of years from Smart Gear, one that Ben Smith's, a former CrossFit Games champion's brother, he helped develop them, and they're also very nice. Another advantage besides not breaking your palms on good grips is that the first time, if you use them correctly and you put them over the bar correctly, you will be hanging on your wrists. So it will also save your forearm from getting tired, and you will be able to hang on to the bar longer.
True, that's a little hack over there.
The first time I used them, it felt like cheating, because instead of 15 keeping pull-ups, I went 25-30, because I could hang on the bar longer, because the weakest muscle on that entire chain is going to be your grip. So not my back muscles, because if I can hang on to the bar, I can do more pull-ups, but I'm coming down usually because I can't hold on anymore. And when I put the grips on, I was like, okay, 10 reps extra.
Yeah.
But don't buy them just for that. Don't try to hack yourself through your pull-ups. You still need to work your strict strength before you do keeping, so that doesn't change. So when you made the remark before, what was that, on the shoes? You don't, on the jump rope, technique is technique. You don't gear yourself out of bad technique. Technique is technique, strength is strength. You still need to put in the work. This is just like things that help you, not that to fix anything.
Yeah, I think people consider grips something magic, but if you cannot support your weight on the bar, the grips are not going to help you that much. It's just going to give you 5 more extra seconds, and that's it. So yeah,
So that was my top 3 of things that I would start with as a beginner, and then for the rest I have some more things that I use and that are handy to have for different reasons. For example, knee sleeves. You also use knee sleeves sometimes, right? Because you said on the weightlifting.
rarely, but I try them. So what do you use as a daily basis?
I use knee sleeves almost daily. From football, I have an operated knee on the right side. I have a meniscus that is fixed, I don't know, 20 years ago. And the knee sleeves, what people need to understand about knee sleeves is the knee sleeves are not there to help you lift more. The knee sleeves are there to give your joint support. And in my case also the biggest value is that when I warm up with the knee sleeves, the knee stays warm because it's pressurized in that knee sleeve, and it gives me it helps with the inflammation because of the operated knee. Sometimes I would have inflammation on that side, and by using knee sleeves it really helps.
I think that's the most important part. Keep it warm. It keeps the articulation. It keeps it warm, and it's best.
Yeah, so I usually, the main reason I do it is injury prevention and just comfort. So when I'm lifting heavy, yeah, I use them, but also when, for example, we have a lot of lunges, I like to use them. So when I tap my knee on the ground, it's a little bit of a cushion in between instead of slamming the ground. So that also helps. They come in 3, 5, and 7 millimeters. If I would choose some, I would go more in the direction of 5 or 7 because you will feel more support from them because they're thicker. The 3, I don't think you will have too much benefit besides just keeping your knees warm, but also just to support the joint, I would go for the thicker ones, 5 or 7. And I had some Ray-Bans in the past, which is a famous brand, but now I have some from the Rogue. Works the same.
Okay, so knee sleeves. What else?
Let's see what else I have on my list. Wrist wraps. They come in all kinds of styles. Some are stretchy, some are rigid when you put them around. I've had all kinds.
What's the difference between wrist wraps and grips?
Grips. So grips they go around your wrists. They have a long piece that covers your palm. So you would put the grips between your palm and the barbell when you do pull-ups. Wrist wraps is just a piece of fabric that goes around your wrist to give your wrist support. So I like them when I do the Olympic lifts, when I do heavy overhead squats, or even when I do light overhead squats, but a lot of them in a Metcon, like 50 in total. It supports my wrists. It makes my wrists feel a bit more comfortable.
Hold it together.
Yeah, it squeezes it together like, it's a comforting.
Okay.
It's nice to have, but not a necessity. I go periods where I don't wear them. I go periods where I wear them.
And you like the elastic ones or the tight ones, the more rigid?
I like the more rigid ones because they'll just last longer. The elastic ones, eventually they lose their tension. So eventually you're gonna have to throw them. Those rigid ones, that's forever. They're unbreakable. You wash them, they're unbreakable. It's a bit more of a hassle to put them in place, but usually I use them for heavy lifting, so I have rest between sets. In Metcons, sometimes I use them, but not that often. Then another item on my list is a belt. You have a belt?
I don't have a belt, but
You use one sometimes?
Yeah, I own a gym and there are many belts left over, so I just use whatever is there. I don't have a personal one.
I don't think it's necessary to have a personal one. Most people will find a belt in the gym that will be their size. I'm on the heavier side, so I need a belt that's a bit bigger. We didn't have one, so I bought one eventually. I have 2 types of belts.
What do you use it for?
So I have a belt. The belt usually is used for the heavier lifting. So you will lift more weight with belt than without. Most people, don't want to generalize, but most people will lift more. It helps you create tension. So you pull your belt tight and then you brace by expanding your belly in all directions and you push against the belt. So before you go down, take a deep breath, push against the belt, squat, and it will help you to stay rigid in the bottom instead of being loose and kind of collapsing in the bottom. So you will lift more weights. Does that mean you should only lift weights with belt? No. Most of the time, most weights that you lift, you should be able to do them safely without belt, because you need to learn to brace without. So I would recommend most people to leave the belt off till 80-85%. But for your heavy ones, I would put it. It's not a necessity, you can do it without, but it's nice to have. Even just from a mental point of view, it helps to have something to push against.
I remember when I was young and going to the gym, everybody that was like a bit more muscular used to have a belt around his waist. Doesn't matter he was doing triceps or a bit of biceps, he had a big belt, big leather belt. Sometimes I see even people in the gym and they're having very small weight on the bar, and I'm just joking with them. Why you have the belt on? Your pants are falling down, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't wear a belt if you're not lifting heavy.
No.
Like you said, until 80%, you shouldn't. If you don't have a problem necessarily, you shouldn't have a belt on. When you go past, yeah, use it. It's gonna help.
When it's heavy. I've also had people that before they started their squat, I grabbed them from the back on their belt, and it's very loose.
Loose.
And like, okay, why are you wearing the belt now? It's just like accessory.
Mm-hmm.
You need to pull it tight, so when you squeeze your abs, you're pushing against the belt. If you're not, otherwise it's just there for decoration.
And then we have the other extreme, people that don't wear no time a belt.
Yeah.
So that's extreme. I suggest you use a belt when you go to your maximum.
Yeah, why not? Better to be safe than sorry. On 1 rep maxes and heavy sets of 3, like heavy sets, I would wear them. And then I have a last one on my list, which I've been doing for years: compressive shorts. So the compressive shorts, they're made of a stretchy material, and they they put pressure on your quads. There are some studies that say that should help injury prevention and should help recovery from training to training, so for the muscle fever. And in my feeling, subjective feeling, I feel for me that it helps. That when I wear them, that my legs aren't so sore between trainings from the compression of the shorts. It's something to try out. Like anything, try it, see if you feel a difference, yes or no. But it's not a must, because of course a good pair of compressive shorts, you're easily gonna pay 60-70 euros.
Whatever works for you, man, is like the supplements.
Yeah.
It might be placebo, but if it works, use it. Use it and go ahead. I would have on my list of nice to have the sleeves, the complete sleeves. You know about them? So
I never tried them. I've seen them, but I've never tried them.
When you do gymnastic work, like ring work, you always scratch your arm, your triceps. That's gonna make like a big bruise, sometimes even like a big burn. So there are sleeves like the basketball players have.
Yeah.
So I think I bought mine from Decathlon, and now I have a pair from Velites. And you drag them when you have a t-shirt until the base of the t-shirt.
Yeah.
And that helps you from that friction not to get that burn and not to have a big
Yeah, I always damage my arm when we
Yeah.
have a lot of ring dips in the Metcon. Rope burn.
That's a nice thing to have. I also wear my wrist sweatbands. So it's not the bands that you were talking about, the compression one that keeps the bone together. It's just a big wide material that keeps the wrist warm and constantly wiping the sweat off your forehead. I like them a lot, and it prevents my dripping sweat to come on the bar and on my hands, so don't need to choke my hands.
That your arm gets so wet that the sweat starts pouring into your hands.
Especially now it's summer, it's gonna be even harder with this.
You've also worn at times the headband for that reason, no? Not to have the sweat coming down your forehead.
Yeah, I had long hair in that period, and I had rogue sweatband. And something that I like is shorts. To pick my shorts with a bit thicker material. Maybe it's from the fighting days, but they are thicker. When, for example, you do cleans, they are not sensitive on your skin, and in the middle, in the crotch area, it's elastic, so it doesn't pop. I saw multiple people in the gym when they were back squatting or front squatting, the pants were giving out,
like they're ripping their pants.
Yeah, ripping the pants.
That's why I like the compression shorts also, because it's never in the way and it stretches.
With these shorts, it cannot happen. They don't break. They are so strong, they don't break. So
they're made to be pulled on and they're made to stretch.
Yeah, so it's something to think about. Yeah, so in conclusion, you don't need too much to start.
No.
You just need to come with your determination and stay consistent. Even if it rains, even if you don't feel like coming to the gym, build the discipline to come in, day out. Then that's it for today. If you have any questions, please write us an email at info@smartmovecrossfit.ro or shoot us a message straight on Instagram at smartmovecrossfit. Next time we will discuss about programming. Find out what that means, who makes it, and what is the thought behind it. We don't do random things here. We have a certain structure, so tune in for a golden episode that will bring much more clarity in how to approach the classes. If you want to find out more about the two of us, you can find our details into the show notes. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.